a great conversation.
We're starting.
Could we just roll right into it?
We can.
Yeah. That's what I was asking. So you don't believe in it? You don't believe in...
Can I got to introduce the show.
Yeah, do your
Really?
intro.
Because I cut the intro off. I don't do the intro anymore.
Yeah, but how about you just roll right into it? Why
You
do you
don't
have
do
to
the
have,
intro with.
You have to have an intro in a podcast?
What about the theme song thing?
Look at him. You're stressing out, aren't you?
Because it's my show.
Oh,
And
okay.
you guys haven't been here in 6 months, and there's a reason for it.
You can't act like a diva with a Santa hat on.
Welcome to the I Know a Guy podcast. Damon's back in the studio. Jake's back in the studio. I had fired both of them, but then I realized our subscribers weren't going up as high as I thought they should be, and I was the reason for that. So I brought them back in so we can take back off again with subscribers because they actually do add something to the show. You guys matter, and you make a difference.
Well, it's the holidays, too. I'm sure you're just feeling guilty,
Well,
and then all of a sudden...
just before we started talking, someone broke up with you just now. I'm going right to it. Someone just broke up with you. You literally, before we went on about to start, you go, someone just broke up with me on my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah, and she checked all the boxes. She did. Yeah, she
Not
checked.
every box, though.
I don't know. It seemed like the vast majority of them, of course. Yeah.
When someone does that, because, so say she checks all the boxes, you're now in a position where she went, hey, I'm telling you it's not aligning, it's not happening. Best of luck with the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Is a part of you going to go, hold on, the chase is back on. Now let me try again. Because you had her. She liked you.
Yeah. And I liked her. I liked her a lot. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I that could be part of it as well. But then you're just like, right now I'm not putting too much emphasis on it because of the holidays as well, and I'm just thinking like where I've got to go see my family tomorrow, and then I come back, and then I got to get some work done, and then I'm going to Sicily again.
When are you leaving for
I'm
Sicily?
leaving on Christmas.
Christmas
I'm leaving
Day?
on Christmas. Yeah, Christmas Day.
Italy.
And then. And then once we, I'm going to be gone for several days, and once we get back, I mean, it's going right back to work.
Yeah, so you've got
no,
a lot
but
going on.
no, nothing on her at all. It's just, I know I'm very, very busy this time of year, and I wish I had enough time in a day to accommodate to all parties. And I find myself being a little bit of a people pleaser. And then unfortunately, someone or something's going to fall short. When you have all these, when you're juggling so much, and it's very unfortunate that was the case, perhaps with her.
I'm not saying my name is Dr. Love.
Okay,
but
with that hat, it looks like it.
Well, I do like Santa Claus. I like Christmas time. I don't think she checked all the boxes.
Why is that?
Because if she checked all the boxes, then we weren't. That text message doesn't come in. That text message.
What box you felt that wasn't checked?
Okay, based on what I know about this young lady, I say young. She might be older than me. I don't know. But based on
she's just a bit younger than you. Yeah.
Okay, based on what I know,
Mm-hmm.
She likes you a ton. You have great conversations.
Well, I mean, a ton, but yeah, I think
enough. She
Mm-hmm.
pursued.
Mm-hmm.
You pursued.
I pursued her. Yeah.
I'm saying that you guys had some sparks there, and at some point you went, because you and I talked previously. You're kind of like, yeah, I'm good right now. I'm slow rolling things.
Sure.
And I think she felt that, and she was like, okay, clearly.
That could be it, and that could be and like
right.
I don't ultimately want to get hurt.
No,
that could there's a guard.
You didn't
up
call
and
her
things.
back last night.
Well, I'm going to be quite honest with you. Is that I do have a tendency, and it's no excuse, but it's the facts that we were just talking about it before the podcast even started. Like I feel I go hard in the paint. So even
when
with
you're
work,
in, you're in.
Yeah, but like it was with work. I mean, people are sick. People are sick. There weren't enough people at work. There was some problems some challenges that happened at work. So I stick it out, and I was helping out with staff. And the next thing you know, you look at your phone, it's 10 o'clock at night.
But you're also not married. You're
Sure,
not engaged.
sure.
So you can do that.
Yeah, and it was late, and I've done that. I've done that a couple times.
It's never intentional. Just kind of like
no. I don't think it's intentional whatsoever. I just get caught up, and believe it or not, my family, they tend to get a little upset about that too. Like where, hey Damon, you said you were going to call me back in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Instead you're calling me back 5 hours later.
Is your phone on silent or is it like on the ringer on? Because mine stays on silent, and I get yelled at about it all the time.
mostly it's on, but when I go into meetings, I make a conscious effort to make sure I put it on silent. And sometimes I forget to turn it back on, and then a couple hours later, you look at your phone and you got all these missed calls and text messages. So that happens sometimes too. But that wasn't the case at all with her. It's just that I really get caught. When I'm married to perhaps my job. That's probably what I'm like really
It's also
married to.
it's a safe place though. You know it. You're great at it. And
I don't know about that, but it's my passion. Thank you, Ben. I know that I got to take these compliments as they come with you, don't they? Don't I?
Second. Yeah, you should. It's Christmas time, and so I don't like giving compliments.
No, you don't.
You know me.
Oh,
I'm a jerk.
You hide it well sometimes.
Well, think about what happened. We're going to get into Yellowstone, right?
Oh man, that was
I was
fun.
a jerk.
I went to
No, you
Yellowstone
weren't a
together?
jerk.
Yeah.
You were. Yeah. See, Jake.
Well, Jake's in school. So, Jake, you've been at UF, right?
Yeah.
You've been in school. What are you studying?
Philosophy.
That's easy.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy? Come up with one.
Sure.
I floss in the morning. There's one. It's a career path I don't care for because I know you can't go anywhere with philosophy.
Yeah. I just want to be a waiter.
Wait. You say there's no career path with philosophy?
Oh, you're a great Jake Sloan's a great philosopher.
Yep.
I mean, philosophy is.
Well, you could be a professor, right?
Be a professor. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good career.
Yeah.
And that comes with health insurance. What else can you do with philosophy?
It comes.
Are you majoring in philosophy?
Yes.
Well, what are some of the other avenues that you can go?
Well,
with?
the serious answer is I'm going to get my master's in mental health counseling. That was
That's
always
right.
the
You
plan.
did mention that. Yes.
And you can get
Oh.
any undergrad for that to become a therapist. So I just chose philosophy because it's something I'm interested in.
Let me tell you something about Jake Sloan.
Please do.
Jake is one of the smartest. How old are you?
24.
24. So he passed the Taylor Swift 22. He is one of the smartest young people that I know. Deep thinker, deep conversations, challenges you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not saying a lot for me because I'm not very smart. So me saying you're one of the smartest people I know, I'm not very smart. But
Is that so? You're really still kind of bringing him down a little bit, aren't you?
I am because I can't give total compliments here. But, he's very challenged. So when you say philosopher, I could see, let's fast forward 40 years. He's 64 years old, and he's a freaking New York Times bestseller philosopher, writing books and doing great things.
It all started here.
Yeah.
the
It all
Noam
started right here.
Chomsky Figure.
Yeah, whoever that is. See, I don't even know who that is.
Did you enjoy the podcast? Were you there for the podcast when you had Zach on?
Zach.
Zeter. He was talking about recovery.
Oh, I
stuff.
wasn't there for that one.
It's a great one.
Oh, that was a
Great
good one. He did a very good job.
I watched some
Yeah,
of
that
the
I listened to
clips.
that from the very beginning to
Did
the
you?
very
He
end,
fired me then.
nonstop. Yeah.
Fired.
Before that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
And then I
No,
brought-
you.
No,
Oh, you
he
brought him
never
back. So
fired
how
me.
many
I brought him
times? So you got fired several times.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's not personal. So
I think that's really cool doing the mental health.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah, Jake, we went to Yellowstone in October.
Speaking of mental health, we went to Yellowstone.
Isn't it beautiful out there?
It's great. It's there's a sense of the closest thing to heaven, at least from my perspective. It's absolutely stunning. It's really breathtaking. We had quite a bit of moments of just like not saying anything.
Zen.
Yeah, I just remember I remember that one time when you sat on you laid the phone on the rock and you just sat there, and I remember like this is a very long time that Ben has gone without saying a goddamn word. I said he must be really taking in the moment.
Yeah.
And so we kind of like stood back and just let him do it, and it was for quite a bit, and then we found ourselves everyone else doing the same thing.
So
It was right around when the sun was
Yeah.
getting ready to set.
I'll set it up. It's North Yellowstone area. I think it's the north entrance. or
Doesn't everyone
exit.
say that's probably the better area?
They say west is the more wild one, but
were-
the north is gorgeous because it comes back around to Lamar. It's the northeast entrance because it ends up looping back to Lamar Valley.
Did we go to the
Which-
west as well?
We went.
We did it all.
We did it all. We did it
We
all.
did it all.
So which they call Lamar Valley the Serengeti of North America, but that's where we saw the bison, and
We saw a lot.
the wolves,
Yeah.
but from a
The
distance.
den, yeah, the wolves den.
Uh-huh. Here's what's important to note. I want to set this up for you, Jake, so you
Sure.
understand what we're talking about. You know who Mickey Singer is.
Love him.
Mickey Singer.
Oh, yeah. He's done a lot.
talks
for
a
us.
lot about. Yeah, he has. Talks about first off Oprah, Tony Robbins, bestseller book. I mean, just done incredible. In fact, he's on Oprah's top 10 most favorite books all time.
Yes.
For our listeners, it's Michael Singer, author of The Untethered Soul.
Yeah, and so he talks about getting to that place of just much more. And I've got another one of his books on order right now. I think it's supposed to be in already.
The Seed of Self.
It's the one that talks about his.
No, the place. The Seed
Yes.
of Self. Yeah.
How many
Okay.
how many books has he written? I'm sorry, I mean,
I don't know.
I know of 3.
Okay.
And you just get to this place, Seed of Self. Jake, you know more than I do. But we didn't intentionally go there to it. Here in this world, especially here, you're in Florida, the East Coast, and anywhere in life where you just go, and you can't just slow down and stop. I think Mickey Singer or Michael Singer would tell you can get there anywhere, right? You can sit down, find a place. But we were able to go, and it was intentional, but it wasn't. So we were going to what's called I think it's called Dunraven Pass. It's either Dunraven or Dunhaven Pass. And that is where, over a year ago, I had seen a grizzly for 2 seconds before it disappeared. And it's this open valley that drops off hundreds of feet down below you, goes off into the distance, and you can literally watch several ridges and mountain range areas. You can see everything for miles. And so we were just watching wildlife at sunset, and we sat there for like 90 minutes. We were there for an hour and a half. And I wanted to leave and keep driving toward Lamar Valley again and go see stuff. And Adam goes, no, we're just staying here.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the Tahoe, the truck, our rental car, it was actually a Ford Expedition, backed up to the side of the ridge, opened it up. Adam's bundled up with a blanket on. You're kind of off walking around. And I just sat on this rock and just looking down below, keep my eyes open. And it was absolute just peace.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just a lot of time of just no speaking at all.
And there were no vehicles driving by us. There were no
by.
people walking past
And
us.
and behind us we had the remainder of the mountain that we were on. We were close to the peak.
That's right.
So you could turn around and there was a lot of beautiful landscape behind us as well.
Absolutely stunning. I got tons of videos on it anyhow. But, so Yellowstone's gorgeous. You ever get a chance to go out there?
Yeah, I highly recommend it. We also did the springs we were just talking about before, about the mineral springs that are here.
Yes.
That's here in Florida, and we had the opportunity to go when it was pretty much almost freezing outside. We went to the hot springs, and then they had a cold plunge. There was a cold plunge that was right next to it, so you could go into the cold plunge, which was about 40 degrees, I guess, and then jump right into the hot springs, and it's right up on the mountain.
Florida.
Yellowstone.
Oh, nice.
So that's the view I'm talking about. Now it's hard to see. I think you can see it, Jake.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, that's the
See that thing? Is it showing up?
Is that on the river?
That's the valley. That's what we're looking at. And that, by the way, is looking that's not even panoramic, right? To the left, the mountains go up and to the down. And so that's where we just sat. And let me say this, though. This is what's important. I've been there twice, once in September, once in October, intentionally, not June, July, August, August, because it's so packed. They say if you go to the entrance of the park in the summertime, it's an hour and a half to even get into the park. We went when all the lodges were closed down except Canyon Village. So we had the park to ourselves in a way.
Yeah, we did.
And so you could go miles and not see
anybody.
anybody.
And then they say within the last, we were there for the last week before they shut it.
That's
all
exactly right. Yeah,
and
we got in the last week.
We went up high in the mountains, and it was complete snow. It was all white.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Remember we drove up there?
Of course, yeah.
And then it's just like you're in a totally different world within a matter of minutes.
That's a great point. So with Yellowstone, you have what are like prairie, like meadow,
Sure.
a river going through it. Then you'll have a canyon with this giant, huge waterfall. Then you'll be in woods and timberland forest. I mean, there are just so many different types of.
We were
stuff out
there. I felt we had the opportunity to knock out 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like the fall and then the winter.
Yep.
Because that was really stunning when we went up to the very tip. The weather was 20 degrees.
Yep.
It was just constant snowfall, and we spent a great deal of time up there as well. And then within a matter of half an hour,
Yes.
we're down and taking the jackets
That's
off
right.
as you can walk near the water.
Yep. So
The lake that was there.
Damon and Adam were there for peace and relaxation. I was there rock hounding.
Yeah,
And
that was
they
fun.
got mad or got on me because
What's rock hounding?
looking for rocks, gemstones.
It's
I like
illegal.
that stuff.
Oh, is it?
Illegal. Well, hold on. What do you think this is? Now, I bought this. I bought this over here. I bought that in Custer, South Dakota, but I think they call that agate, green agate, and that comes from Salt Lake City. Like $6-7. Not bad, huh? But I want to find it myself. And so I went up to some guy in the park who was very nice.
He had like a lens,
Yeah.
the size of like a rifle.
Oh yeah.
And
He's looking
he
across
was
a half mile away.
He was looking for wolves' dens, right? Is that what he was doing?
At the time, he was watching some bison up on bison all across the river.
Okay.
It was a sunset,
Then that was
and that's where I asked him if he knew of any places to look for rocks, which is illegal in the park. And I wasn't trying to do anything illegal, but he did tell us that some people go up, and what's that? Is it obsidian? What was that? That rock? That black rock?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Are we sure it's what it is? It was a black, shiny. Basically, the indigenous people, the Native Americans or the Indians.
That's where they forged the arrowheads.
That's
right?
exactly right.
Mhm.
And it's a rock that's basically magma that's turned into like this black glass.
Yeah, that's obsidian.
It is?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it was
Oh,
you're driving.
there's a whole cliff of it.
Yeah, but it certainly there were signs.
Yeah, there's signs say do not touch these. And so I don't see any sitting here.
Or you go to the place where there are no signs.
Yeah, you go to the place where there's signs, you go, oh, this must be the free open area where you can grab whatever you want.
What Twitch streamers do when they're talking about something illegal is they'll say the thing like, I murdered this dude,
Okay.
but then they finish it with in Minecraft. So
Yeah, I took a couple of obsidian rocks in Minecraft. No, I did. Don't come get me. Listen, let me tell you something. They have it for sale in Teton, and because Jackson Hole, it was all awesome.
Yeah.
We had a great time. So, yeah, that's Yellowstone, Jake. If you have any questions about it, come to us. We can help you.
well, how are you being a brat? You said you were
Because you're
You're a
asking
brat.
some guy basically about something that's an illegal activity. You're saying
no earlier. I thought you said that you were being a brat.
they got mad
Damon,
because I was
yeah.
looking for rocks everywhere we went. I wanted to get into
Oh.
rivers. I wanted to do everything, and they were like, whatever.
That's true. Yeah, he wanted to find rocks.
Oh,
there
I was a
throughout the whole
jerk to
entire-
Damon. I was a jerk to Damon because I roasted a lot and would Damon was trying to talk to the flight attendant on the way home. No,
Oh,
no, you weren't
yeah.
talking to her. We're not going to talk
Not the flight attendant. That was
the stewardess.
yeah. I tried. Yeah, I was talking to her, and you yeah.
But another one was saying, remember the male one that was really funny, and he made a comment about, oh, that's bad. I said, not as bad as his breath or something like that. Stupid. Just jerk comments that he doesn't deserve. See, I'm okay with
But
saying.
see, I take it, and I understand your personality and
you know, I'm
your
a jerk.
bullshit.
Yeah, you
So
know, I'm a
I
jerk.
handle it like a champ.
Handle this like a champ. The
Okay.
name Messina has its origins in the ancient Greek zenkel, whatever it means, sickle. Okay, but at the end of the day, the name comes from sickle, which means a harbor of the city, the shape that made an area an ideal location for a port. So sickle was referred to the natural sickle-shaped harbor of the city. Okay, right.
Mhm.
Then you go Bukhari. That's Greek, by the way. Both Messina and
Yes, I
Bukhari
know.
are Greek.
We yeah. So hey.
We're brothers.
Yeah.
That's why I do that to you.
Yes.
Bukhari likely has Greek origins, and it has the name of a small fishing village. Okay, the term can mean, they believe, small inlet, small entrance, which would make sense for a coastal village, right? So your jelly bean shaped harbor. I'm this small inlet. Let's see what Sloan has. The name Sloan has its origins in both Irish, is it Gaelic, and Scottish Gaelic. Its meaning
Scottish.
now, people say, I don't know if it's Celtic or Celtic, and its meaning can be traced to, some people say Celtic roots or Celtic roots. Okay, the root slow means army or host. It translates to descendant of the warrior, descendant of the raider, Irish.
I mean, that sounds about right.
Oh, and if you go to Scottish, it also means something like leadership of warrior ancestry. So we're bodies of water and inlets, and he's a freaking warrior.
He's a warrior. Yeah.
Are you Irish?
No, I think I'm mostly Spanish.
Oh, well, then you're not the right Sloan. I should let the Spanish Sloan.
I think most of my roots are Spanish, but then like we married into a Sloan or something. But yeah, my ancestors were like some of the first conquistadors that came
Oh,
to
wow.
St. Augustine.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. And those guys weren't real tall.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I was on a tour in St. Augustine on a boat, dolphin tour, and they also take other stuff. And I think the average height of the conquistadors, and I may be wrong here, and someone can challenge me, which would be great, it was like 5'6", 5'7". But the Indians, Native Americans, I do want to talk about that, by the way, using the phrase Indian, Native American, or indigenous people, because I like being woke. And they said that the average height of they were 6'3", 6'4". Very tall. No, the Native Americans.
Oh. Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
So while I'm talking about Indians,
what the hell happened to me?
This is what happened to you. You're not short. You're probably average or more than average height. What are you, 6 foot? You're a 5?
5'11".
Ooh,
yeah.
That's not bad. My dad's 5'11".
I saw your pops the other day.
My dad.
Sorry,
yeah.
I didn't mean to. Yeah.
He's
good
I'd like
there.
to have him come on this podcast.
Yeah, that would be great.
He'd go viral, and he'd cuss me out. He'd cuss me out when it's over. Here's what's interesting about the Indian people.
He would.
I saw this woman. Her nephew had passed away.
What kind of Indian are we talking?
We're talking American.
Native Indian.
I can't tell you the exact tribe, but we're not talking about India.
What?
I was about to say something I shouldn't say.
What?
What?
You're going to say Donna for that.
I was going to say, like, I don't want to reference a store
Store.
where you pump gas. I'm not doing that. Well, if you're saying, so you're talking about Indian, I'm talking about India. I'm not talking about India. I'm talking about American Indian. Right? You're going to get me in trouble. It's not like I get paid for this anyhow.
I do it on the podcast.
Who cares? I'll say what I want. No, so I'm respectful. She's her nephew passed away, and so I find out from somebody that I know because I'm possibly going to sell the property, maybe in the future. Everything in this house is this guy has gotten from the tribe. Still to this day, they get money from different either casinos, and he gets like $10,000 a month, and then they pay. Oh yeah, pay their trips to go places and travel. Well, out of respect to her, because I'd love to have her on here, and she doesn't live in this area; she lives a few hours south. She's 100%.
I was going to ask that.
100%. They stay within their tribe and all that. And I asked her, well, let me ask you something. What's the appropriate way to refer to people that are? Is it indigenous? Is it Native American? Is it Indian? She goes, Indian's fine.
Okay.
I said, so not indigenous? She goes, people nowadays want to try and say all kinds of stuff. Indian's perfectly fine. And those were from her mouth. And I was like, damn, okay, cool.
That's interesting. They stay within.
Yeah.
As far as marriage and
she was 100%. I thought that was really cool. So anyhow, yeah.
So what Bakari is it?
It's Greek.
It's Greek. Yeah.
But I don't care what anybody says. Don't tell me I'm racist. You're not racist. We're all mutts. Nobody's purebred here.
No. Yeah. There's And
I'm with you, man.
is that the case? Like, just think,
you know, the camera on you when you're making fun of me.
Let me ask you this: do you think, like, within like hundreds of years, or centuries from now,
we're all gonna be brown.
We'll all be one race?
Yeah.
No. Really?
Not Poland. Nope.
Sweden.
Poland got the door shut.
There's like no black people.
Can't get into Poland. It'll hold all the world's brown in one race, but not Poland.
Why is that?
I saw something last week where the guy was talking. He was prime minister, and he was like, the lady was trying to say you're racist. You don't allow people in the country, and he said we've allowed 2 million Ukrainians to come into our country, and then she was saying, well, you don't allow Muslims to come into your country, which I have Arabic descent, so I don't, and I also don't get offended by what the guy said. And he just said, he goes, our people have said what they want. And they do not want mass immigration into their country, and it's going to change their culture. What they want are safe neighborhoods, safe places. Someone, well, you're saying, someone of Muslim descent is going to do that. Well, if you have people immigrate into your country who are poor, who don't have a whole lot, yes, they're seeking a better life, and that's admirable. But if they're coming and they don't have the same values you have, not that poor people don't have the same values necessarily, but they're not part of your culture. That's you have to assimilate. No. Otherwise, it changes, and that's not what they currently want. And their country has a right to speak for themselves of what they want.
Sure, I'm sure that'll change probably in time.
It may
go in,
yes,
maybe peaks and valleys with that, right?
Everybody should love one another.
Yeah,
and that's why I want to talk about Caitlin Clark.
Who?
No, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the
WNBA basketball player. It's a perfect
segue. She was the rookie this year,
What'd you
right?
say?
Nothing. I was just making a Caitlyn Jenner joke.
Please don't do that. This podcast is for everybody, and everybody's welcome to watch it. I'm talking to the camera.
Anything
Everybody's
about
welcome.
her identity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was about her. Next.
Sheila Johnson, owner of the WNBA Washington Mystics, says this week that Time Magazine, I guess, featured Caitlin Clark. You know, the Time Magazine Person of the Year and all that crap. Well, they featured Caitlin Clark on Time Magazine, and she questioned why the publication couldn't have put the whole WNBA team on that cover, given the talent the league possesses. When you just keep singling out, and this is what she says. This is the problem I have. When you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings.
I don't blame her. There's a lot of hard feelings that she's been on the brunt end of.
I agree,
So,
yeah. But
I would
what are
be
some of
saying
those?
whatever.
It kind of came into my algorithm for a little bit of time with Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
So was she just
I'll tell you what she did.
okay?
This year, something clicked with the WNBA, and it's because of the drafted players that came in. It's not just Caitlin Clark. It's it's Reese as well. We have so much talent out there. And the problem I have, which, by the way, there are a lot of people, all walks of life, defending Caitlin Clark, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like one group's ganging up. But she got her butt kicked when she first got in the league, right? This year, she got nailed, personal fouls, intentional. Like, hey, you're new here and you have to earn, and that happens probably anywhere you're a rookie, sort of. But she got it pretty hard, and it was everywhere on TV because everybody's following Caitlin Clark. But let me tell you what she did. The Indiana Fever, the team she plays for in 2023. You know how many fans they averaged at each game?
1,000.
4,000
Okay.
2003?
in 2023.
Oh, 23.
4,000 fans.
Mm-hmm.
The Clark effect, the Caitlin Clark effect, 2024, 17,000.
Oh wow.
The
What's the
entire,
capacity of that stadium, you know?
I don't know. The entire WNBA went up 50% in attendance overall.
And I'm sure the places she visited as well, or they played at.
Yeah,
right? I'm sure she helped there.
I mean, I never watched a women's basketball game in my life other than announcing a couple at
Is she
University
that
of
good?
Florida. She's Steph Curry in a way. She shoots real deep, and she's just got this, feisty personality, and doesn't lay down to anybody, and is competitive, and she's very talented. So
And she did that in college, and she took it with her
she did it
into
up there.
the WNBA.
Yeah. And so
So what's the problem?
well, the problem is, so here's my issue. I think the WNBA as a whole should really embrace her, and I do think there are players who do, but these comments like this from an owner piss people off. And it goes, you know what? Have your sport. And maybe Caitlin Clark goes, because Caitlin Clark could leave. You know the Hawk Tua girl,
Yeah.
right, that went viral, that's worth millions now?
Yeah.
She has a podcast now, you know?
I've heard about it.
It's the-
Caitlin Clark could leave WNBA basketball and be a millionaire and just go around being an influencer. She's got a lot of people who like her, how she plays and her style, and she could just be an influencer and say, WNBA.
Caitlin Clark should go on Talk Tua.
Talk Tua?
Talk Tua.
It's called Talk Tua?
Yes, the podcast.
Talk to her. Yeah. Okay.
And you
So
know
wait.
what?
So Caitlin, she has enough followers.
Oh, yeah.
Like young. They're like a lot of young followers
Yeah, I think
as
so.
well. Is that
Yeah, I think a lot of people got excited to watch her play. And
where'd she go to college?
Yeah.
Iowa. Huh? Iowa. It was Iowa.
But
Pretty
there
sure
were
it's what?
there were some
Don't
other
question me.
there were some other girls that came out of the draft that had a pretty good
Angel Reese.
successful season.
Angel Reese was at LSU.
Yes.
and so they have this
yes.
rivalry going on. And Angel Reese is kind of like, hey, I matter too. It ain't just her.
Do
well,
they go at it pretty hard when they play?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they're not in the same position, right? She's a guard and Angel Reese is a post.
Okay.
I don't know.
Angel Reese is a great offensive rebounder.
That's it. She's a
especially
Dennis
off of
Rodman.
Her own missed layup.
She's a Dennis Rodman. You heard what he just said? They make fun of her. She barely can make a layup. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. She's just corny, I think.
She is, but you know
Reese.
Yeah.
Reese. What, she tries too much, tries too hard, or
what? Well, she's not very good. She can't.
She's like really defensive on the media.
oh,
in the media.
and I'm sure that grabs attention too,
Mhm.
right?
It's actually a smart play if it's an intentional play. You want to drum up rivalry.
The
And-
whole landscape has kind of changed, right? I mean, the way sports are now.
Well, what hasn't changed is WNBA loses tens of millions of dollars a year.
Yeah. So they're trying to do anything they can to try to.
It's never going to, I can't see in my lifetime it ever working.
So do you see it going bankrupt? And
Well,
the next
it
10
would already
years,
be
next
bankrupt
decade?
if the NBA didn't help subsidize it.
and they don't do that. The NBA.
The NBA does subsidize it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they lose 40 or 50 million a year. Now their salaries, I think the average salary of a WNBA player is like 160 grand. But what they're saying is the Caitlin Clark effect got the league more viewers than they've had ever in the
So
history.
embrace it.
And
They
private
actually got
airline
chartered flighting for the first time.
Listen to
this
that.
Year. Yeah.
private flighting and not flying public, sold out arenas. And I think there are NBA players who are embracing it, but it's kind of like there's a race element that people want to play into out there. That, oh, it's because she's just a white girl. Well, here's what I'll tell you. There may be white kids out there who see somebody who looks like them that they want to follow, just like any other race or any people see somebody like them.
Is she
something.
And she's pretty good. I mean, is she probably the best?
Oh, she's not the best. Is it Asia? What's funny, Jake?
Nothing, dude. I'm just enjoying this.
No, I'm got my Santa hat on.
No,
We're
is
having a serious
she-
conversation. Asia Wilson, I think, is the best basketball player. She's like a 3-time MVP.
And who does she play for?
I don't know.
Oh.
Not the Orlando Magic, but they could probably use her.
So what is the Caitlin effect? What is it? It's just her.
She just got a following. You had a.
Did she have a following in college as
oh,
well?
yes. Oh yes.
So I'm sure that helped, right?
Yeah.
She plays for the Vegas Aces. Asia Wilson.
Vegas Aces.
Mhm.
I never heard of that team.
Yeah.
You got to think. Women's basketball is not overly popular, but when you think of women's basketball, you think about Tennessee and Pat Summitt. You think about the Yukon Huskies.
Sure.
For me.
Oh, LSU too, right?
Oh,
LSU
and I
had,
like their coach.
Yeah, I like her.
Was
a
it
lot.
Calvi? I forget her name.
Yeah,
I like her.
That's
what people want. You know what? I hate to say this. I'd rather watch Caitlin Clark play than any NBA game right now. I'd rather watch LSU women's basketball play than NBA. NBA is boring.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why, because now it's not.
I've gotten out of the whole. Yeah, I don't watch sports quite as much as I used to.
I'm not actually watching pro. I'll watch in the playoffs, but as I'm watching, like, so the NBA, right? They're trying to change their All-Star up now. Now the All-Star game's not going to just be East versus West. They're now doing like a mini tournament. So they're going to have like 4 or 5 teams on the same night play with All-Stars, and they're going to add one.
Is it struggling? They're all stars, or
because people are tired of the product that's on the court. You got 100. The final score is 170 to 170. They're throwing long bounce passes and big, huge alley-oops. They're letting each other. It's a layup drill.
Okay.
It's not even competitive.
Are the ratings just
Yes.
in the NBA
Yes.
doing pretty good?
Now I don't know what the
NBA.
ratings are in the NBA, but I do know that All-Star game is it's a joke,
Okay.
and people want to see competition, and that's the problem I have with the NBA. It's like you're just letting people dunk. And even in regular games, you don't want to get hurt. Are you playing or not?
Yeah.
Because when you go, oh, well, LeBron James, you already knew I was going there. You had to know I was going to talk about LeBron. If LeBron James, he's had such a great career, because he's not getting bruised and beat up going to the basket like those guys in the 90s were doing.
Yeah, I do notice a little bit of if you watch some film from the 80s and the 90s and early 2000s compared to now, at least from my perspective, you do see some significant difference. I see a significant difference in how the game is played. I do. I have noticed that. Like and again, I could be wrong, but just imagine seeing LeBron go up against the Detroit Pistons from the 90s.
Oh,
with those guys. I mean, he's
pay for
getting the shit kicked out of him. I mean, they hit you pretty hard. And that was the case with Jordan too when he was playing. I mean, he got the living shit kicked out of him when he was playing against the Pistons those first few seasons.
Way to be in the moment, Ben.
huh?
Way to be in the moment.
Oh, I heard exactly the same about Pistons. I was trying to find something that's relevant.
Okay.
Stephen A. Smith rips Oprah for lying about Trump. Sorry. I have these saved reels on here. Oprah said at a
What's
thing.
she saying? All right, let's go ahead. I think you've been wanting to talk about this for a while. Go ahead.
Well,
Go
first
ahead.
off,
Go ahead.
okay. I don't want any
That was an
problems.
interesting segue into this topic.
Yeah, just get the point.
You just went right after it, didn't you?
But I want you to come up with something. I don't have to come up with all the topics.
No, we were just talking about something and you went right, and I guess that topic got a little boring.
It did, because you were kind of like, oh, yeah, I got my Pistons. And then Jake's sitting there grinning at me. I got my hat on. Listen, Oprah says to these people,
Okay.
if we don't vote, if Donald Trump wins, we may never be able to vote again. She said that.
Yeah.
And she also got $2.5 million from Kamala's campaign vice president.
She gave to
No,
him?
no.
She got
They
it.
paid her organization that. Yeah. So if you donated $25 to her campaign, it went to Oprah. And by the way, you could do the same thing for Republicans. I just haven't heard about it. Tell me about it. Who got money from Donald Trump's campaign or something? But you're paying Oprah $2.5 million.
Donald ain't. President Trump is not going to pay anyone.
He's not even taking a presidential salary. He's donating it to charity. Damon, can you not see the philanthropic nature of this
Jake,
man?
What's the president? What's the yearly? What's the yearly?
400,000. Ask me that question. 400,000.
400,000.
I know the answer. I mean, he has a lot of legal expenses.
Good for him.
Listen, our country's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. I do know some folks that are literally looking at homes in Europe.
What?
Yeah.
Time out. Like they're looking, we're going to have a vacation home. We're talking about moving.
Yeah. I think one in which one couple, their daughter, they travel often. They do quite a bit of traveling, and her daughter is got a couple years until she graduates, and they have been looking at places like in Scotland, Italy. For her to go to a university. So she chooses to go to a university internationally.
Directly related to Donald Trump winning?
I think it plays a little bit of a role with that. Yeah, I think it does.
What effect is Donald Trump truly going to have that people – the problem is people have been lied to. I don't think that President Harris or President Trump is overly going to kill this country.
You don't think President Trump ever lied?
You know what, Damon?
Hold on. You don't think he's ever lied during his presidency as well? You think he's been completely transparent?
I think he's one of the most transparent presidents you'll ever see. 1,000%.
Really?
I do. And I'll share this with you because this is all coming out right now.
Okay.
They had the January 6th committee that investigated Donald Trump. This is what's coming out right now, that the committee is now trying to get rid of the records of their interviews. They've already gotten rid of all the video and audio. They did an interview. Do you remember this thing about Donald Trump? There was a story about the Secret Service guy. Now, I do want to preface what I'm about to say. I'm going to put a little...
It's hard for me to have an opinion on things that I'm unfamiliar with.
That's fine. Well,
It's not forbidden.
It's not. I'm putting a little disclaimer here that what I'm telling you is I'm sharing information that came from a congressman. I listened to him speak, and he's on this committee or in this group, and has... Look, people who are in Congress have access to certain documents, files, and
I really don't know.
Intelligence. They would have that.
I think they do.
No, they do. They have more access to certain intelligence that you have, or I have.
Maybe conversations, but I don't think they're privy to classified documents.
That's
for example.
Depends on what committee they're on. I think they're on intelligence committees. They would, but but I understand what you're saying. So my understanding is this January 6th. Trump was guilty. And they did these interviews in this big committee thing. They covered that one had to do with Trump supposedly grabbed the steering wheel in the car, because he was so pissed, and this person made this claim who used to be close to Trump. And the Secret Service agent who actually drove the vehicle was never asked, and they spoke to him after the elections were over.
I don't know anything about this.
They'll move on from that one.
No.
These were just
Go
little
ahead.
things.
Just explain it a little.
Just go ahead.
Okay, so basically the idea was that Donald Trump was so angry about something that he was trying to do something while the vehicle's driving, and he grabs the steering wheel and yanks it down or does something. And it was showing how erratic he is, how crazy he is, how psychotic Donald Trump is.
I think that
So he's not driving; he's a passenger.
He's a passenger, and
and the secret. But the idea is that the committee didn't actually, instead of, let's just say they did their interview to try to find ways to find Trump to fit the narrative that he's guilty of whatever they're claiming versus talking to all sides. And there were give me a second. So the Duke lacrosse case, this is my comparison. You heard about the Duke lacrosse case from 20 years ago?
Sure.
Did you hear about the prosecutor in the case and what happened there?
No, I don't.
There was DNA evidence that was provided that would have shown that those boys at the time had not done anything. Okay.
Is that the kids that killed their parents?
No. These are the ones that supposedly raped the stripper.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, and she this week came out and said, this week, after being in prison for second-degree murder of her ex-husband or boyfriend or her husband, admitted, because I guess she's found God in prison, and she admitted that she had lied the whole time, which they had already gotten off, but they all left Duke. They were destroyed. They raped this woman. It was back in 2005 or 2007. It was almost 20 years ago. Made national news. Well, the prosecutor, this is very interesting. The prosecutor on the case was up for re-election. I guess it's probably like a state attorney. And so he wanted to, is huge media, right? Media has a huge influence on these things. And so he was basically saying, we're gonna get a guilty verdict. We're gonna do all these things. Well, at some point, the attorney general for the state or something took over the case. Okay. And they found that the prosecutor had held, because he didn't hand over all the evidence, the DNA evidence that showed the boys were not involved.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one other key piece of evidence. You may be able to find it. Thanks, Jake. And so he ended up, in the end, they put criminal charges against that prosecutor.
Wow.
He ended up going to jail for 1 day, a symbolic thing. He was disbarred because he intentionally was trying to. He ignored the evidence that would suggest these guys were innocent, intentionally to try to get a conviction because it would help his election.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's not good.
I compare that to the January 6th committee. I apologize that I don't do a political podcast.
Okay,
so
the January 6th committee.
So the January 6th committee that was
quote unquote insurrection, correct?
Right. They were going to investigate Donald Trump and his role in it and what he did and did not do. And their job as a committee, and this is what I think any investigation should do, find out all sides, find the truth, right? Not go, we know how these people feel. We're just going to talk to them. And that's what the January 6th committee did. So what's about to happen, listen to me. When Donald Trump is elected, the records are now going to come out and show, because I thought it was bizarre when I saw that Donald Trump's mad about the January 6th records going away. And I'm like, why would you not want that to go away? Wasn't it bad? No. They're saying there was evidence that would have proved that Donald Trump exonerated him, that they held, that they hid. They slept, we don't want to do that. Oh, we don't want to talk to that person because that doesn't fit our narrative. That's the problem I have. Screw your narrative. Find the truth and talk to everybody.
Yeah, I don't know much about that.
Yeah.
But the challenge that I feel is that what led up to that, not the actual insurrection, like what people going into the Capitol, and I'm hearing different things about that. But no, what I meant is that rally was stated because he made a point that the voting,
the
voting was all a fraud, and I don't think still to this day has he gotten up and said that
he's not going to.
Yeah,
he still believes it was stolen. Said it in an interview, I think, with MSNBC the other day.
Yeah,
he still believes it. But I'll say this: less people in this election cast a ballot than the.
Sure, I don't know. You know, I guess he refuses to take one off the chin. I don't know. For me, as far as President Trump, I really don't care for his character. I really don't.
I don't know
I'm
that
not
we
a fan of that, and I just think
I don't think we know him.
Oh, I think we do. I don't think that I really do. I think we certainly do know him.
You know, so if you don't mind, what I'm gonna do is I come across these reels because I'm this.
Here, I'll put it the way I look at it, the way I feel. I don't want someone in office who's gonna make me feel that he can do anything. I want someone in office who can make me feel that I can do almost anything.
That's a bar.
I really, you know, and that right there,
someone that empowers you.
Absolutely, that empowers the country, that empowers us. I see where everything is about me, I.
You don't think that's just the New Yorker in him?
No, my family's all from New York.
I'm not saying they're all like
my whole
that.
family's all from, and let me tell you, it's like, let's look at the polls over the last several years. A lot of people that live in New York and New Jersey area did not vote for him. You know, so he's got a good foundation, and I could be wrong, and I apologize, but I'm just saying he's really got the South. He's got the vast majority of the South that's behind him,
and Montana.
Yeah, you got Montana,
North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas,
you have
Oklahoma,
a lot of
Texas.
the rural areas that went with him.
Never going to win a city. Not going to win New York. Not going to win San Fran.
But that could have been different now with the past election. I haven't really done much research, but that in a nutshell, that's my take on President Trump. I don't like that feeling that and that can create, I think, for me personally, that can create problems in the future for your kids your kids, you know, and the kids whom I work with over at the rec center and things.
I
like
got you.
and that I feel character plays a very big role, and everyone talks about policies and this and that, absolutely. But you know, what I do for a living, just in what's tiny compared to what he does, if I didn't have character or a little bit of character, I make a conscious effort to do that, and have a little bit of caring and compassion and understanding for the community I work for. And if I didn't have those things, and if I acted belligerent, if I was obnoxious and things of that nature, if I had those character traits, I certainly wouldn't be in the position I am in right now.
Okay.
That's all. That's all.
So fair.
Mm-hmm. But hey, the policies are there, you know. But Damon has good policies. Damon is he puts on a good blueprint on how to run the department and etc. But all in all, he's an asshole.
Well, look.
But so
look who's.
I don't know.
So
that's just my.
I would
just
say.
my opinion.
I would say the mainstream media, by and large, has put out an image of Donald Trump, and you see him. You don't see him back down. You see him being confrontational when someone confronts him.
Have you ever heard the man apologize before? Have you just ever heard the man just
what would he
say,
apologize for?
Because apparently, to him, from what I've seen, he seems to do everything right, bigger and better than anyone else.
No, there's no question, and you know that.
Yeah.
You know he's better and bigger and all that.
Yeah,
of course.
That's just
I
know.
understood.
All right, the economy may get better. I don't know.
You know what?
You
know who he sounds like? I get it, because this is why I understand from your perspective, because he sounds like LeBron James.
Jesus Christ.
Really?
Didn't LeBron James say that? Jake, I know. Look, just listen to me.
I'm listening.
I want to know. Do you remember when LeBron James was sitting around with his buddies talking on some video thing, watching himself win a NBA championship, and said, "That was when I knew I was the greatest player of all time"?
Yeah.
Did he say that? So then you tell me that doesn't sound like Donald Trump.
Listen. LeBron James is arguably one of the greatest players of all time. But here, Jake,
who says that about
do this.
themselves?
But here, do this. Can you look up?
God, I'm in this podcast. I'm so pissed now.
The amount of money and funding that man has produced over the years.
What do you want me to Google?
Can you give me a number of the amount of money and the amount of time and energy? Well, that's kind of hard to but towards youth in his community in the Akron, Ohio area. Then he opened up several charter schools.
He opened up one school, and they pay for it.
Who's they?
The county, the borough,
Really?
whatever. They pay for it. He
Well,
made.
let's find out if that's true. I don't know. I do know. He made a significant contribution to the school to get it started, and then it was turned over to the taxpayers to maintain. Okay.
Which I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I just want to know. I know he's done. If you were to put any kind of comparison as far as money donated and things like that, I'd like to think LeBron has probably done quite a bit more than most people. I don't know. That's am I?
He also made a place called the House 330. It's a multi-purpose community center in Akron offering job training, financial literacy programs, and more, further investing in the well-being of local families.
Didn't say he's a bad person. You could look up Donald Trump and what he's done.
I was going to do that. I was going to ask that.
You ever heard of AlJazeera.com?
So you always say that LeBron's not the GOAT.
Hey, we know that.
I don't think he's the GOAT. I don't think LeBron's the GOAT.
It's obvious that.
Is LeBron kind of your Trump in terms of presidents, and then Reagan is your MJ?
So
Reagan.
I got to be honest with you. I was born in '83, and Reagan was already president.
Just say no is sound advice, as you both know, right?
Oh yeah, that did wonders,
totally
didn't
works.
it? That did wonders.
No. I grew up with Jordan as the man, so you know why I like him so much. I grew up with Tiger Woods as the man, so you know why I like Tiger Woods so much.
We were blessed
I like how
to
you're
have
doing the Trump weave to my question.
Trump and LeBron are very similar in personality. Trump,
But is
LeBron,
Reagan your GOAT?
You really feel that way?
as a president.
Wait.
I'm gonna have to go George Bush.
Can we rewind real quick? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
what we were talking about?
Yeah.
You feel, as far as the personalities, you feel that Trump and LeBron James are very similar when it comes to personalities?
With their egos, absolutely.
Oh man,
You want the proof? You want the proof?
Wait,
Yeah, I'd
so
like to see the
you
proof.
hate LeBron because of his ego.
I don't
but
hate
you love
anybody.
Trump because of his ego.
I don't hate anybody. Trump because of policy.
You get
I
what
don't.
you get what
I don't
mean.
like Trump's personality. I like the policy.
You just said he never lied.
I said he's one of the most transparent presidents.
I disagree.
Which is why
with
on
you
January 20th you're going to learn what those drones were doing in New Jersey, whereas you don't know right now, do you?
What's going? Yeah, I heard about.
Because he
that.
doesn't care
Drones.
Donald Trump, unless it is a national security issue where he can't say anything. But that's why he said his interviews this week, because you've heard about the drones over New Jersey, or you haven't paid attention to all that.
I heard a
Okay,
little bit
there's
about
drones,
that,
and Donald says, I don't understand why they're not just telling people what it is. And someone goes, Mr. President, have you been briefed by security about what it is? He goes, I don't have a comment for that. Because he can't say anything. He knows exactly what it is.
Why?
He's getting intelligence briefings.
Well, he could have opened the JFK files and told the public.
He's going to open the JFK files.
No, he could have.
He could
but
have.
someone told him not to.
Oh,
he
they
didn't.
did?
He
Yeah.
said that on Rogan.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, why
Yeah.
though?
But
Well,
after Rogan pressed him in
can you rewind real quick?
Oh, I want to hear
He
this.
first correct me. He said to the whole press that he opened it up, and he goes, "You don't want to see what I saw." And then when he went on the Joe Rogan show, right?
Yeah,
and then
contradicted
Joe is
himself.
like, "No, I only read a little bit of
just
it."
a little bit.
He said, "I only read a little bit of it." And I wish Joe would have pressed him a little bit. Well, hold on. You went up there and said
Yeah.
that you read it,
Joe
and you
cut
said
so
you wouldn't
hard.
want to know. And then I think he briefly said, "Well, there are still people alive that they're probably in their 90s." Like I
What do you think's there, Damon?
don't think he did. That's
I'm
the
intrigued
problem.
by it. You don't think Lee Harvey Oswald did it?
No, I don't think he opened the files.
Oh.
I think that's horseshit. I mean, that's what I gathered. I could
Yeah,
be wrong.
yeah.
I think he dodged that. I think he dodged the. So don't get up there into the press and make you seem like you are the man, saying, yeah, I opened it up and I saw this, but you don't want to see what I saw. What you're the gatekeeper of that? You can't let
Look,
us know.
I didn't say Donald Trump was the Pope.
But you said he doesn't lie.
I said I don't think he lies very often. Like, I don't think it's like, oh, he's just everything he says is a lie. I said he's one of the most transparent presidents you've ever seen. That's why he had a meeting in the Oval Office, and he said, no, we'll do negotiations right here. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer himself, just sitting there open and talking. I think there's a reason Robert F. Kennedy joined his campaign. Chelsea Gabbard, who was on the Democratic national stage running for president of the United States, converted to the Republican Party. And Republicans aren't the greatest.
Ben, you
I'm not
gotta
talking
admit
about
that one meeting was just purely political theater. That was nothing but, hey guys, look at me. I mean that's the.
Was it theater when he sat I think with the German chancellor and told him we don't have a fair trade agreement? Like literally sitting at this fine dining dinner with plates and Mr. President,
Yes,
everybody.
there's cameras around, so it's basically theater. Those
He's
aren't the real
lighting people
conversations
up.
yeah, when the cameras are around.
And behind the scenes, he's not.
I mean, that I'm not saying
I
one
don't
way or the
know.
other, but
I
for
don't
you to
know.
be thoroughly
Yeah.
convinced on,
I'm a follower.
yes,
And Joe Rogan,
thank you. You said it better than I could.
and there's a reason Joe Rogan wanted Trump. There's a reason Robert F. Kennedy wanted Trump, and Galbert wanted Trump.
I have my
Galbert.
Is it Gabbert or Galbert? Galbert.
I have my
Gal-
theories.
Gabbard.
Galbert's in Texas.
I have my
Yes.
theories on that. I do. I have my theories on that. I feel that I think people's loyalty gets in the way of their common sense sometimes, and I think he's finding
clear out all
people.
those apps, Ben.
Nasty ones.
He's finding these people, and he's gonna like offer them power, and people love power. There's an addiction too.
No, that's true now.
You know what I mean?
Damon.
So what it is
That's
that
true.
I feel that, and he relies on loyalty. And if you're loyal to him, he will, from what I've seen, he'll do everything he can
Well,
towards
Herschel
that
Walker's
loyalty.
been
And I
nominated.
think,
No,
and
I agree.
I think he'll break laws, and I think he'll do things that don't have a decent moral. When it comes to a moral compass, and then when you get that, I feel you automatically feel like, all right, I'm on board with this guy.
I'm not sure I disagree with you too much, Damon. I'm not. But I also don't want to sit here and act like Joe Biden does too.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
just
but you're
pardoned
just
1,500
obfuscating by saying, "But what about him?"
I'm saying they all do this stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all I'm
that's
saying.
exactly what
Yeah.
I'm saying. You're
What's
saying.
wrong with that?
It's just we're,
What is
we're
your?
taking
Can
one
you put the
person's
camera on
opinion.
you while you're talking? And what's your philosophy on that one?
If I'm coming up to you, Ben, and I'm saying, Ben, I have a problem with this behavior, and you go, well, look at Damon, he's doing this, then we're not like honing in on like the problems that you have.
Okay,
behaviors
fair.
you have.
Come back to me. You know what, Damon? You're absolutely correct,
All right.
and I have a problem with that too.
That was good. Thank you.
No, I can on the spot. You just saw me live correct myself because I needed to do that, and I actually
Ben
feel
does.
better
Ben,
now.
Oh,
Ben
that was
will.
genuine?
Yes, and I feel
Okay.
better. I feel better.
Good.
Ben, like that.
Listen, I cannot be unburdened by what has been. Okay, you don't even know what that's from, do you?
Yeah, it's Kamala's quote. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
sure you got it right. You did get it right. You did get it
You
right.
want some more word salad?
Yeah, talk about coconuts.
Who talked about that? Her?
That was her.
Oh my God.
It was actually kind of a fire point. It's like she was saying you don't live within the context of, or we all live within the context of our surroundings and our families and blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, "You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?" And then she starts cackling.
So she does that, this cackle thing, and she loses it. Look, at the end of the day, I want you to join our party,
You want
Patriots.
Yeah, you turn the Santa hat around and it says MAGA.
You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
I'm going to say this for the first time on air. I am very strongly contemplating becoming an independent. I don't think the Republican Party represents me or the Democratic Party. There's not one party that represents me. And I think they swing and they sway. And I was in politics. I was elected. I know some of the ground game. But as I'm getting older and I'm watching it, I'm going, right now, the reason Trump's on fire and got elected is because the Democrats lost their message. They lost a lot of voters out there who didn't believe that they were the party right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that will change.
It seems to go back and forth. Yeah,
It does swing. And you have to scare everybody.
Do you feel that progression eventually wins?
Yeah.
I just think it gets slowed down.
Yeah, was that question for me? Because you looked
Just
at
in
Jake.
general. In general, I was just looking at in general, both of you guys.
Well, I mean, there were the Nazis. That's a big regression.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Well, I mean, that's what they were saying Trump's like. If you watch The View, that he's like Hitler.
Who, Trump?
Yeah, they compared him to Hitler. Trump's not Hitler.
No.
In the 1990, so I'm going to start saying these things. Remember, I watched this documentary on Donald Trump with his ex-late wife, the mother of, I think, of Ivanka and Eric and all them. And there were parts of that I did not like about Donald Trump. I mean, the way he carried himself in some respects I didn't like. I would love to see maybe his perspective on it. But here's what he did do.
You mean when he was younger? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, well, in
when he was younger?
1990, I guess Nelson Mandela was released from prison in Africa and was trying to get to America. And he flew his private plane, chartered a plane to bring him in, to bring Nelson Mandela. And I actually had that pulled up because I asked Donald Trump, why don't
Trump did?
Nelson Mandela was trying to come to the United States. The U.S. government was not helping him. No one was helping him. And so Murdoch, who did this interview, this is on Al Jazeera Media, says, you chartered a 727 plane for the entire trip. Why is it hard for you to talk about the things you've done? And this Mandela died in 2013, blah, blah, blah. Trump said, I love doing it. I don't need praise for it. We all like a certain level of praise, but I just like helping people. I help a lot of people, and I enjoy doing it. I never talk about it.
According to ChatGPT, there's no credible evidence or record to suggest that Donald Trump personally flew Nelson Mandela out of South Africa or was involved in any significant way with Mandela's travels. That's according to GPT.
Yeah, that's a great one. And that's also been known, ChatGPT, to try to not put out positive things about Trump.
So what would be a good source to ask?
PolitiFact says that Nelson Mandela traveled on Donald Trump's plane in 1990, but it wasn't a gift. Let's see. He paid $130,000. Mandela paid Trump $130,000 to rent the plane. It wasn't part of Trump's charitable donations, as some social media users claim. The U.S. government paid for Mandela's security and used a military plane to transport a bulletproof limousine across the state. Hold on. In the last few weeks, this is good information, so I love being fact-checked, and we all should be. In the last few weeks before Election Day, podcaster and Fox News contributor George Murdoch, it's Tyrus, that's where I saw this, tried to show voters a nicer side of him. And it said Nelson Mandela was trying to come to the United States. The U.S. government wasn't helping him. No one was helping him, and you chartered a plane. And he said, I love doing it. Don't need praise. So you already saw that.
So what's the truth here?
I'm finding it right now.
Okay, apparently the Trump shuttle is what chartered him around his 8-city tour of the U.S. So, like, that's when he owned the airline thing.
Oh, so he did it. you donated?
I don't know.
Someone said here the Mandela Welcoming Committee is very thankful to Donald Trump. This is what Dolan told the Los Angeles Times. The use of the plane wasn't free. The team rented a Trump shuttle for $130,000.
This is in the 90s.
Yeah. Okay. Trump obviously could not donate a plane, but he was able to free up one of the planes from the Trump shuttle. Is what he told the Atlanta Journal in 1990. Yeah, interesting.
Watch that
So-
real quick, man. I gotta use the bathroom.
Yeah, I can do that. Who's won, him or two?
Huh?
We're almost done. 5 minutes.
No,
Because
we got more because we need to switch from politics and talk about some.
well, let's do it. But I got
Yeah.
50. I got 15. I got a meeting at 12:30. I really do.
I have to be at a place at 12:30 too.
Do you?
Yeah.
So when he gets back, we'll finish it up. One's you, two's me. That's right.
What's that?
So what are we gonna do for Jake when he gets back? We gotta mess with him or something. We gotta screw with him. Are you game for that?
I love Jake. Jake's my buddy, man.
He's a good guy.
See, listen, this is the thing. Or I hope we're on still.
we
right?
are on.
Okay,
and Jake
good.
challenges
I
me.
know
and
how you
pisses
get
me off.
like yeah. And when I challenge you, you go at me, and then you'll get Adam, and then
Oh,
me
yeah.
and Adam will like
I
try
like
to get
it.
after you.
Oh, I know.
And then you play. Listen, you know what you do? You play the politics. You
I-
play the politics.
I just stir stuff up, right?
yes, you do.
Is that on you or me? I can't see it. That's on you. Good.
You play the politics. You'll see. You're like, all right. They're getting on to Damon. I'm going on Damon.
It's
But
fun.
They're getting
It's,
on the. They're get. Correct me if I'm. Correct me. Like Ben. He's like the guy. He's like the sniper. So if he sees, like, for instance, if Adam and I are getting into it, he'll just say, okay, who's the weak link out of the two? And then
Yeah.
he'll go like, all right, Damon's the weak link.
Picture
fudge.
I'm going on Adam's side. We're going after him.
every time.
But if Adam's the weak link, you'll go.
Yeah.
It was always me when I worked here. Yeah.
You came a long way though. All right.
I would wipe you and Adam out.
Yeah, you're great. All right, go ahead and tell me now what's going on. What do we want to talk
What?
about? Because I do. Oh, he has a meeting at 12:32. So you work full time? We do.
Yeah, I have two jobs.
Yeah,
actually,
we
so
do. Yeah, you have two jobs.
I have two jobs.
Okay,
So
where
I
do you
invite
work?
to suck
You want to talk about it or
Um,
no?
Yeah, I work at
I didn't hear that.
Chick-fil-A and a bar.
Make some money at the bar. Bouncer?
Bar backing.
What's
You've-
bar backing?
You've bartended before, haven't
I've
you?
bartended before at a smaller bar.
What's bar backing?
Bar backing is the dude that runs behind the bartenders and like gets them bottles and fills their fridge and
Oh.
Ice but you're making
You knew
sure
that,
they
Damon?
have.
you get
I
like
did that
10%
before,
of
yeah.
the total tips.
You get what?
10% of the total tips.
Okay, can I ask you what your
you
best
pull-
night has been?
Like 250.
So they got $2,500 in tips.
You run. You have to run, especially on busy nights. And it's always that small window, right? Is that how it is when you're working in certain areas?
Small
I always
window, like
with that window of like, okay, it's from 10:30 to 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? And it's just nonstop. It's like, where does that time go?
yeah.
I remember when I bartended, when it came to that high volume type,
Mm-hmm.
you have that window of like 3 hours or 4 hours where it's just absolute chaos. And then
Oh.
at the end, you're like, dude, where'd that time go?
Yeah.
It's
I love
pretty-
that though. I feel like one of those like Indian street food dudes who like go really fast. It's a nice feeling being quick. What is going on with my computer?
I did
It's
go
so
off.
dark. It's better now.
Well, can you put 3 on you? We want to see you talk.
You would have done good at that. I mean, I enjoyed bartending.
Huh.
I did that for a while. No, you.
You should pick it up now.
Yeah.
Well, we're not gonna do that because then I won't be here.
Yeah. But no, you kind of different types
Mm-hmm.
when you're a bartender,
Yeah.
like different types of I don't know, the atmosphere, right?
Sure.
Right, Jacob? I mean, like that's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I bartended to where it's high volume, but also I bartended at the places where it's just throughout the day. Just
Yeah.
it's just a steady pace throughout the day, and then you have those guys that sit there for literally like 6 to 5 hours out of the day,
Wow.
and then you're kind of like, you're like their therapist, and you just talk about whatever. You got sports on. Very rarely you talk about politics or religion.
We shouldn't be talking about politics ever again on the show.
Why?
Just what we just did was not right.
But it's not good.
Say
It's
that.
it's hard to it's challenging when people are drinking. They do really take it personal, and that goes for religion as well. So we always made sure we didn't. But you
What about
get-
sports?
all the time,
Even if
all the time.
it sounds like people up north are crazy with sports. Like they get mad if you're like,
we're an SEC country.
yeah,
They're
but I'm
crazy here,
talking
too.
like I hear like big fights and stuff. Like if I'm in New York,
There's more tradition. Yeah, like the Eagles and the.
Every NFL game ever.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
So if
the
I walk
Eagles.
into downtown, you know, if I'm a Mets fan and I go into a bar that's primarily, I'm assuming there's one that are mainly Yankees.
Quite a bit.
That's a problem, right? If I wear a Mets jersey walking in there.
They used sometimes, yeah. Like here, well, remember? You don't remember John Rocker?
Oh yeah, Atlanta Braves.
Remember when he was with the Braves?
Yeah,
I
of
don't know
course
if
I do.
you were. This is years back. He, John Rocker, he had the mullet back then. I mean, he was a
Is
closer.
that the real conservative dude?
No.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, yes.
I've seen like
So when he
edits of him.
Yeah, so he taught like he spoke to a New York editor because I guess they were playing in the National League Championship. Whoever won that series would go to the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly, I could be wrong, but he just quoted about how he was talking about how the gays are in New York and how people have purple hair. You know, he was just really saying some crazy shit.
He was a
So
bro.
he came out of the bullpen during a game, and they were throwing like batteries and stuff
Oh
at
my
him.
God.
The Mets fans.
I wouldn't have.
The
That's so
Yankees and
stupid.
Mets. They get a little. Boston fans are nuts too. Boston fans.
I'm amazed
Philly?
at people's stupidity to say things. Even at that, like even when I was at that age, I wouldn't have said something like that.
Oh, he went.
You're
You
a
know,
millionaire, dude.
and he was a
Well,
good.
it's
he was
'cause
a
I'm
good-
loaded.
He was a good player. I mean, he was a closer for a few years, and he was the man.
Yeah. Hmm.
No, yeah, they get pretty crazy up north.
Did
But
y'all see that video of the Ravens fan like going up to a dude like downtown somewhere and knocking a kid out?
No.
He was on like a 4-day coke bender, and he went viral for just like walking up to a dude and playing the knockout game.
Oh, I hate that knockout
But
game.
anyways, it went super viral. Him and Luigi were both
Cool with each other.
Gilman alumni. Like they went to the same high school.
Luigi, you talking about the guy who shot the health insurance guy?
Yeah, the man.
Wait, Luigi, what's his last
You
name?
believe
The
it?
guy who
You're good with
killed
that
the
too?
United CEO healthcare.
Do you feel
Yeah.
like that about the guy dying?
I mean, I don't have like my heart didn't break. You know, finding
No.
out that he was killed. Like,
But you didn't celebrate it.
I mean, no, I didn't celebrate it.
But you understand when people are really upset about health insurance.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's they're crooks. They're crooks.
People feel that way about all insurance. But you know the reality is,
Well, doesn't it like tie it into big pharma as well and all that stuff? You know how it all just fed up.
Yeah.
You know,
But
it's
you know
just
what, Damon?
Greed is really just
I think that's the issue. Is what they're saying is the when you're making $550 million in profits. But I got to be honest with you. I need to educate myself on that. Are you telling me that means there's $550 million of extra money just laying around, but they turn people down?
Yeah.
Or those show as profits, but they're not profits because of other expenses? I need to educate myself on that. That's
me
my
too.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, apparently there is like a percentage limit on premiums. Like if they make so much money from premiums, and they don't end up denying. I think it's like an 80-20 rule. They have to give the money back at the end of the year.
Well,
But
Well, hopefully there's
not to shill for big pharma, but
well, Robert F. Kennedy's in now. We're good, okay?
oof, man.
And Elon Musk. And Vivek Ramaswamy. I went back.
You're stirring the pot, aren't you? Buddy?
I am. I'm trying to see which name triggers here, or your boy Joe Rogue.
Yeah.
Listen, what did you want to talk about? You had something on your
What am I
mind.
talking
You want some advice for the holidays?
about?
I will tell you an
yeah.
easy dessert to make.
How do I find a holiday gal?
Holiday girlfriend?
Yeah.
Tinder. Is that still around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Okay?
Okay.
Find a girl that you like
That's
at the
that's
bar.
a tough step, but
Yeah.
sure.
Find. Yeah, it
At the
probably is.
bar?
I don't. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Wherever you find her, you find her. I want you to go buy pretzels. You know the pretzels? They're like circle, little loop, little small pretzels. Not the stick pretzels, but the little small round ones.
Yeah.
And go
I feel
get-
like this is going to be stupid advice and not like real OG advice.
You're talking to someone who went to a bar many years ago.
Uh-huh.
My boy was trying to talk to the girl who happened to be a bartender. It was a very nice girl and very educated girl. But she said, I do not take phone numbers ever while at work because it's not what I do. And I actually wrote a note for him on his behalf and signed it. I'll tell you, I did sign it Tim Tebow's name, like Tim Tebow, like ha ha ha, and put his phone number on there. She called him a day and a half later. So I think you need to listen to me. I'm gonna get you the hookup. Okay.
The pretzels. You were talking about the pretzels. Okay.
Go to the gas station. Get a bag of the chocolate Rolos. You know the little Rolos.
Yeah.
And I want you to take that freaking Rolo out of its package and sit it on top of the pretzel. Put it in the microwave on a plate. Put a bunch of them. Let it 15 seconds. It's gonna melt. Okay. When it melts, I want you to come back in and put another pretzel on top and squeeze them. Okay. You made homemade Rolo clusters. And I want you to take those and give them to whatever girl that you want to talk to and say, I think you're a nice person.
Yeah, but girls don't eat anymore.
I've been staring at you from across the bar all night long. I couldn't take my eyes off you. You're the most beautiful creature I've ever seen. And you hand her those Rolos, and she's going to go, that was weird, and then turn around and go, that was awesome. Okay? You'll have a 1-800 number before you know it.
Do you have someone on your radar? Sorry, man. That sounded remarkable.
Just
That was great. That was absolutely remarkable.
Rolo clusters?
I was taking mental notes on that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you
I don't
talk.
know.
Can you text me the recipe?
Yes.
So you don't have anyone on your radar?
Not really. I think I just fall in love with every girl I see.
Sure.
Publix or Target.
You
so
know
you
what?
approach?
I'm like do I like approach?
You approach them?
Yes. Actually started. Well, not anymore. But like a couple years ago, I was like trying to figure out women in general.
If I could go back in time, I would have done a lot more approaching.
Yeah.
Can you talk?
Yeah,
Can you talk
I would.
about?
I would definitely. I would. You know, my buddy Jim. He's married now. He's doing very well. His beautiful wife and things like. But he always like used the philosophy. He goes, play the lottery. Eventually, you're gonna win.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just play the lottery. And
Can I give you some sound advice?
Sure.
Don't do anything right now. Not before Christmas. Because if you actually found somebody, like maybe you wouldn't. I think I would. I'd be like having to buy a Christmas present. No. Save the freaking money. Wait till after the New Year's over. And hell, you might push it out to after February 14th, Valentine's Day. Save yourself the money.
Wait until March. March is a good
Yes.
time.
Yeah, excellent time.
I
Excellent time.
think too. I think like travel. You know, I don't know. I look back and I was always kind of in a little bit of relationships then, but I don't know. Just if it comes, it comes. I don't know. Just,
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you're not looking, it seems to happen, right? You know, when
Yeah.
And I think you should be a gold digger. You don't need to find.
Yeah.
I
you're a
don't.
good
I
looking
don't- I
guy.
don't-
You could find some like a
You need to
hotter
find a
older lady
successful-
that has.
Is this because you think I'm going to be a waitress? With my
Well, you told me you're going to be a
philosophy?
waiter with your philosophy. No,
Yeah.
no, it's because the reality is, you look up the number one or number two reason for divorce,
Mhm.
and if it's not infidelity, the other one is
I think it's
probably
financial.
financial.
Financial, yeah.
And
it's
so-
just,
And I'm not saying that everyone who has finance gets divorced. What I am saying is, it creates issues. It is a problem when
Mhm.
you are stressed about money and paying bills. So to find somebody that you have to carry, now someone said, "Well, man, you should carry." You find somebody that's on the same wavelength as you, and it's a big bonus if they have their head on straight and they've got a good job. I'm not saying they're gonna make millions, but a good job. Because if you fall in love with the girl in aisle 5 at Target, who is kind of like, oh, I can be a stay-at-home mom, and I'm not saying that's bad.
Yeah. This is very pragmatic. I'm not sure you're a big believer of love, Ben.
This is a
Where's your
philosophy
heart?
crap. My heart.
Yeah.
Ben is. I've known Ben for a while. Yeah, he's-
I think this idea that you find your soulmate and it was the one who was meant to be out of hundreds of millions of people or a billion on this planet is insane to me.
Okay, well, you're contradicting yourself because just an hour ago you were telling Damon that if she was the one, what did he say? If it was meant to be, it would be.
That's correct. So it's not meant to be.
Right.
But no. They're not mutually exclusive. I don't think it means that. I'm just saying I do believe in this universe what will be, period. But I'm not saying that I don't believe there is, oh, well, this is your soulmate and you are it. You can find somebody that you love dearly more than anybody else on this earth. But the idea that you could never find somebody else on this earth that you could love and fall in love with. Look, I saw something the other day where this lady who'd been married for many years and literally posted happy anniversary to my soulmate, her second husband. Do you think how'd she feel about her first husband when they first met? Oh, you're my soulmate. You're it. No, I don't believe that. I believe that you find somebody that you're compatible with, that you love very much, and they love you. But it is possible somewhere else there could be somebody that you would feel just as strongly about, or more strongly in certain areas with that person.
Sure.
So that's it.
Yeah.
I am definitely not the person to give advice on any of this stuff. Anything else, Jake?
I just enjoy the ride, man.
Mm-hmm.
If it's,
Yeah, that's
you know
good
what I mean?
advice.
Like it just you know, what was it discussed? Like you stay in it now, just stay in the present moment. You know, I struggled with that all through my entire life, and now having the ability to kind of stay in the now is really helped me out. So it just kind of puts my mind at ease. If it's meant to be, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. One of those things. I feel there's like we do have a path, and by staying in the now, we kind of stay on that path. But like when we don't stay in the now, we veer off that path, and that's when shit hits the fan. You know, and then there's something out there in the universe that's trying to get us to get back on that path, and trying to you know that's why. So I really feel
That's good. That's
staying staying in the now. Seriously, it's hard. It's hard. It's been a challenge. I've been trying to do that for the last like 15, 20 years, but it gets better. That's all. Like it gets easier. I guess that's what it is. It gets a little easier staying in the moment, staying in the now, staying right here, staying today. That's the only thing I can control. When I start projecting, oh my God, I go into some dark neighborhoods, you know, and I get very anxious, anxiety. And then when I start like dwelling on the past, which I'm comfortable talking about now, it's taken a while to get there. I don't get depressed anymore. I kind of laugh it off, you know. It's like, oh yeah, I'm glad I'm not that person anymore. You know,
like,
we
what happened?
you know, and Ben, you know, we've had some, you know, some good times and things like that, and you know, not in the perhaps the most responsible of ways, but you know, I'm happy who I am today, but because I stay in the now, and I had to go through all that dark shit.
Yeah, trip to the mountains and going down the Kitty water slide and stuff like that. But we'll talk about it in another podcast. There's some stories.
Remember when you showed up and I was gone? You guys didn't know where I was.
I was like, "Where's it
the
at?"
mountain?
Yeah, it's tanning. Listen, I want to give you some sound advice too. Okay, because I can see there's a struggle going on, and
there's no struggle. I was just making conversation. I don't even need lady advice, but go ahead.
Can I give my advice, please?
Yeah, go for it.
You've
I'm
heard
doing fine, listeners. Believe me, I'm doing fine.
You've heard of Garth Brooks?
Yeah.
Great country singer. He has a song called Unanswered Prayers. You know what the song's about? Song talks about
unanswered prayers.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's about. And this woman was his one. It was it. She was the best, and all this stuff. And then years later, it doesn't work out. It's not her. It doesn't. You know, I don't know if it was a girlfriend or whatever it was. Something from high school. God, please, this person, let this be it, and it wasn't. And years later, comes back to an old high school football game and sees her there, his old love. Yeah, and he's now married, and he thanks God for unanswered prayers because she was not the one that he thought she would have been, and all this stuff. And so my point is, you know, you go, God, please make this be the person. It's like, you know what? Probably a reason it's not. And that's
I've had that happen.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's just with anything.
Sure.
Right? It could be just what, hey, I need this house, I need this person, I need this job.
And you go, God,
I need
I'm so
this,
glad you didn't do that.
And then things just seem to kind of work itself out for the most part. Yeah. I think if you just try to be conscious. I allow my subconscious to do things. It's not that good. I have to be conscious about my living. Well, and it eventually when I start doing better, it eventually becomes my subconscious. If that does that make sense? Yeah.
Well, Jake, anything else for the good of the group?
For what?
For the podcast. You came in here.
Like topics?
Yeah, well,
I came in here and what?
Well, he's got a meeting in 9 minutes.
Yeah, I got to get going, guys. I appreciate
it's
it.
been
Can
great.
we do it seriously? Can we do this again in the new year?
He's got.
I'd like definitely. Let's do this.
Yeah, this is a great group.
I enjoy doing this.
Yeah, I enjoy enjoy hanging out with you guys. Yep.
I love you guys. And
love you too. Merry Christmas.
What'd you say?
Love you guys. Yeah, Merry Christmas.
He said he enjoys something.
I enjoy hanging out with you guys. It's a lot of fun, and we've had a great show. And if you want to subscribe, there's a button. I'm really bad at this, so there's a button on the screen somewhere. If you'll search for it, if you Google search, how can I subscribe? you'll find it. And if you don't want to subscribe, you probably didn't get this far. So thank you. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Damon.
Thanks. Merry Christmas,
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah, Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
The
Happy
camera to me
Kwanzaa.
when
Happy
you're talking.
Hanukkah. All of it.